Hello everyone. It's time for our Smallsword Assessment Choreography. Just like the previous assessment choreography, this is going to be broken up into 3 phases, and we're going to tackle all 3 phases, each one at a time. So if you are a distance learner, what you will want to do is you will want to pick one of the 2 characters. So I will be performing one half of the fight, and my son Dante here is going to be performing the other half of the fight. Now, if you are doing this in person, we are actually going to be partnering up, and so each person in class will only be learning one half of the fight. You at home, you have the benefit of looking at the whole fight and deciding which part you would like to be. Now, this is going to be based on a scene from a novel called The Snare by an author named Sabatini. And there's going to be 2 characters. There's going to be Sir Terence, that will be played by me, and we have Count Sandoval, who will be played by my son Dante. Count Sandoval is the sneaky villain who gets his comeuppance and loses the fight in the end, while Sir Terence O'Moy is the hero of the novel. So I recommend watching all 3 phrases, deciding which part you want to be, and then practicing that half of the choreo, and then you can present that as either one single film of all 3 phrases, or what's probably the better idea is to submit 3 videos, one for each phrase of the fight sequence. So let's get started with phrase 1 of our Smallsword Assessment choreo, a fight between Sir Terence and Count Sandoval. So at the beginning of the scene, the 2 combatants are getting ready for a formal duel. And Count Sandoval asks Sabatini if it's bright enough in here, because this is taking place at nighttime, and the only light is coming from a window of the moonlight. And so Sir Terence is looking out the window to see if this is indeed enough light, and he's able to see a glint of reflected moonlight in the sword as Count Sandoval takes the opportunity to do a sneak attack before the duel has even begun. So, Sir Terence has his eyes towards the window with his back turned. Count Sandoval starts right foot forward. Count Sandoval is going to have a line of dialogue. I believe that line of dialogue is, well then, en garde, and immediately goes into an attack. Sir Terence is going to look over his left shoulder and make eye contact with Count Sandoval as Count Sandoval raises a thrust attack to Sir Terence's center chest. Sir Terence is going to continue turning around, and as Count Sandoval lunges, Sir Terence is going to parry forward. Okay, so let's look at that whole thing kind of at speed. So here I am looking out the window. I turn over my shoulder when we hear the line and make eye contact, lunge, parry. Then, Sir Terence is going to do immediately a riposte to Count Sandoval's left shoulder. Now, I'm being very, very careful to avoid pointing the tip of my blade in my partner's face. I'm going around the face as I riposte there. Now, Count Sandoval is going to recover from the lunge as I advance forward, and he will parry forward. So he'll recover and parry as I advance and parry. Okay, now Count Sandoval is going to do a croisé with expulsion to expel my blade. And you don't really need to do much of a weight shift on this. You can just do a croisé, and then immediately he is going to prep a diagonal cut, low to high, left to right on his left side. I am now going to traverse to my rear left 45, taking my blade with me as I evade what is going to be a cut attack, evasion, boom! And Count Sandoval passes forward onto his left foot to conclude that cut attack. Now, of course, these are not necessarily bladed weapons, or edged weapons. There could be an edge. It's also possible that there's only an edge on the foible of the blade. It's also possible that there is not much of an edge anywhere, and that attack is just meant to be a scratch with the tip of the blade. All of those make sense, and so it doesn't really matter what the sword looks like. The movement is still going to be the same with that diagonal cut. So let's take a look at phrase 1 one more time here. So Sir Terence starts looking out the window, getting ready, foolishly turning his back on his opponent, assuming that he is a man of honor, which he is not. We hear the opening line, turn and look over our left shoulder as Count Sandoval attacks, and parry. Now right here, Count Sandoval has a choice. Count Sandoval can have his palm pronated, but it's more than likely that his palm's going to be supinated right there, which will make it easier to parry 4 on my riposte. He recovers, I advance, parry 4, croisé, and prep, evade, attack, recovery. And as I recover, I'm going to back up here and get ready for phrase 2. So I apologize if we stopped there. Let's take a look at that without stopping. So back is turned, Count Sandoval is right foot forward. Look over the shoulder, make eye contact, thrust, parry, riposte, recover, parry, croisé, and evasion. And of course, remember the evasion, the person evading is the one that moves first. The attack does not move until the evasion happens. But that's phrase 1. Let's look at it one more time, a little bit more smoothly. Here we go. And look over the shoulder, eye contact, thrust, riposte, croisé, and there we go. And you're passing forward on that one. Okay. Let's try that again with the pass forward step. Okay, here we go. And over the shoulder, eye contact, parry, riposte, croisé, and pass forward. There we go. So that's phrase 1. I'm going to stop the camera then, and we're going to come back and look at phrase 2.